I've tried alright. I've really tried to see what everyone else sees in the show, but I just can't seem to find the interest everyone has.
We are the Crystal Gems. We'll always save the day. And if you think we can't, we'll always find a way. That's why the people...
Steven Universe is a Cartoon Network show praised for its music, animation, characters, and inclusive messages. And, I can see that. Yet, I've just found the show to be okay. It's fine. It's good. Sometimes great. And a lot of the time, frustrating. Trust me, I've done a blog post on all the episodes to date. A lot of people love it, a small but growing community seems to hate it with a passion. I'm right in the middle. Sometimes proud to enjoy aspects, other times I have to admit it fails and the criticism, while harsh at times from detractors, not entirely unfounded. But I've said enough of that, or wrote I guess in my reviews of the episodes. Let's talk about the movie in this review / think piece thing video. Oh, and I might spoil a few things if that matters.
Here we are in the future.
So, picking up a few years after where we last left off, Steven Universe the movie sees a universe, I'm not proud of that pun, that is now peaceful. Diamonds are nice, Earth is peaceful, it's all fine and dandy. Until an evil gem crashes the party. Never heard that before. Threatening to destroy it, but Steven manages to get her back in gem form, but only after his 3 crystal gems are defeated. The twist is this time the weapon used has reset them all, resulting in the crystal gems and Steven losing all character development. No, seriously.
Something is clearly wrong.
Making the movie a retread of 5 seasons, all while the Earth is in danger. But first, town people stuff. I wish that was all a joke. Now, to be fair, I didn't hate this movie. The animation is consistently good, even if it feels like it's not always the same team working on everything. Seriously, is it just me, or is some of this in different styles? While I can't say any of it ever feels cinematic, for a TV movie, it's definitely neat animation, with the other friends sequence being a highlight. And speaking of songs, the music is incredibly catchy.
Did you think all this time that I wouldn't find out about you?
Not the best I've heard, but some of the show's greatest. Even if the plot has its problems, the movie never drags thanks to the solid music. Everything else though, I have notes.
Something is clearly wrong.
Part of what makes Steven Universe so frustrating for me is that the stuff I really have issues with are things I could praise it for, but the exact execution is tiresome and flawed for me. I like that it promotes talking things out instead of fighting, but the more extreme the foe, the more implausible it becomes. I'm not the first to acknowledge the fascist diamond regime, but just wow, is that a touchy subject. I'm sure creator Rebecca Sugar and her crew didn't intend it to seem that way, but Forgive the Space Nazis is a hard thing to deliver. Sometimes I just want Steven Universe to finally tackle a character who refuses to be redeemed. It's a mature, sad truth to realize that sometimes violence is the only way.
Me, so you.
Thankfully, the Diamonds have a smaller presence here, acting more like Steven's annoying moms, though there's still problems there.
What did we talk about?
Equal life forms.
Our redeemable villain this time is Spinel, who is an interestingly designed villain who is fun and not at all a bad character. The problem, as always, is that I'm not sure she needed to be redeemed, or at least redeemed in the way she was. As the movie goes along, we realize that the reason she's evil is because Steven's mom, whose backstory has made her more of a monster as we learn more, abandoned her for about 6,000 years. In that regard, I can say where she can be redeemable, as her evil stems from the cruel mistake of another character. The problem is that the movie suggests that Spinel is a bit on the obsessive side, getting upset whenever Steven pays attention to others. It's troubling that the movie never takes the time to comment on the dangers of obsessive personalities, because in the real world, the obsessed some people have leads to abuse. So, having Spinel act that way made me wonder if it was all to suggest that maybe her backstory was a bit fabricated. But nope, we just move right past that. And then the diamonds reappear in the end, in what felt like a typical sitcom ending. The obsessed over being with Steven, Steven's annoyed, but then all is well because their obsessive nature is mutually shared with Spinel. So the happy ending is that Spinel is taken with them so they can remember Pink. If it wasn't for the cute song, I'd be a little more bothered by this. Side note, so this is a bit of a spoiler for Kubo and the Two Strings, but I have to make the comparison. Skip ahead if you wish. One thing I did appreciate in the Steven Universe movie was how Spinel addresses that it would be messed up if she was left in her amnesia state to solve their problem. It reminded me of how the solution in Kubo was to leave the villain thinking he was a nice old man, which just felt really disrespectful to those with memory problems, because it suggests that instead of solving a problem, you can just let a person forget their past, thus forcing them to be good. Not a very good message, so I appreciate the choice here to acknowledge how wrong that is. Alright, back to the review.
Something is clearly wrong.
If I had to pin down where my biggest issue lies, it's the lack of urgency to the plot. While seeing Steven and Greg fuse for an awesome concert, I did wonder why a concert is happening while a doomsday device is threatening life. It's not like they were unaware either. An evacuation should be happening, yet we get that? It's one of the film's best visual sequences and it serves to get Pearl back, but the logic is just baffling, and I can't ignore that these people could die due to this reckless choice. That the movie still found a way to include slice of life story beats was odd and just downright distracting to the threat. Time away from the Doomsday weapon could have been used to further explore gems and their integration to Earth. Maybe show how other gems try to help stop the issue. By the way, why is it just the original gems and Peridot, Lapis, and Bismuth who are working to solve this? Why not showcase the new allies? Instead, the story choices just highlight some of the issues the show has on momentum in the story arcs, distractions, and the lack of utilization of all characters available.
Something is clearly wrong.
Maybe I'm at fault here. I was hoping this movie would bend to what I expect the show to do, while hoping it would give some semblance of change and expectation for the next season. Instead, it's another story made by Rebecca Sugar and her crew. I don't necessarily agree with their vision, but it's theirs and I can't fault them too much for wanting to tell stories that solve violence with peace, even if I don't feel it reflects the real world. To them, it might be wish fulfillment. I don't like it, but I can't say it's awfully done. At its worst, the movie just reflects the show, to a point that it retreads character arcs and just feels like fanservice for fanservice sake. At its best, it has lovely music and neat animation, along with good character work. So, it's less like a movie, more like a reunion special that's come out way too soon if I'm honest. Seriously, if Steven Universe had been off the air for a couple of years, I might have been more forgiving. As is, I could say it's fine. It's definitely great for the hardcore fans, but for the casual like me, it's alright. Newcomers would probably be better watching the show first though, so that's a bit lame. Movies are best when even newcomers can follow along. Alright, let's wrap this up. As I've said before, I'm not sure I'll continue being up to date going forward, as it's become clear after 5 seasons and now a movie, I don't think I'm ever going to fully gel with the show. I do think aspects lean on the great, but the ideology and execution often frustrate me in the same ways. So I'm probably just gonna repeat myself if I continue to review this. For what it's worth though, Kevin doesn't appear in the movie, so maybe I'll bump it up a few points, and so long as he never appears again, I'll watch however many seasons they make of this. Goodbye!
Nothing to fear, no one to fight. I can't believe we've come so far.
Happily ever after.
Happily ever after.
Happily ever after. Here we are.
Something is clearly wrong.